Hi everyone, welcome to Jay's Corner, where we explore the art of living life boldly and embracing every facet of this life's journey. Yay! That is going to be episode one. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Jay's Corner. My name is Janelle Celestine Edwards, and I wanted to start this podcast because I love talking, and that's like it goes without saying. You'll see very soon that I can just go on and on and on. But I wanted to do something that's very fun and something that I can use as maybe my little diary to express myself and talk about topics, talk about things that's on my mind, talk about everything that I feel passionate about, everything that I enjoy doing, how I live my life. I want to talk about friendships. So that's very important as well. That's a topic that I can't wait to start talking about. And I also can't wait to start talking about relationships, like not just relationships as it relates to your partner and friendships, but just relationship with yourself and relationships with coworkers and all those different things. I want to ensure that I have an open platform where everyone's opinions are respected, mine are respected, and the guests that I have on the platform, on the podcast, will also be able to share their opinions, whether or not we agree. I want everyone to feel welcome, and I want the listeners to feel welcome, and I want people to be able to express themselves in the comments freely, and not be judged by anyone or anything. And just a little bit about myself. Wow, I didn't even say my name. Oh, yes, I did. I just said my name. But I am living in the UK now, but I grew up in the Caribbean. So I grew up in Grenada. It's a lovely, lovely island with the Isle of Spice where everything is nice. I think that saying is like out of style now, but I still like it. It's the Isle of Spice where everything is nice. And it's true, everything is nice back home. Home will always be where my heart is. Like, there's nothing can compare or compete with where you grew up. Like, you're going to always feel grounded there. You're going to always feel a sense of safety and comfortableness and welcomeness where you grew up. And that's how I feel about home. But obviously, the economies are different. It's a small island. Opportunities are not as easy to get back home, whereas it might be easier to obtain in the UK or international markets. So yeah, that's why I basically moved to the UK. The reason why we did that change is because my partner and his work and what he does now. So that's why we moved. But yeah, we have the opportunity now and it's great. I'm enjoying it so far. But my Caribbean roots will always be in me. So my accent will always sound, I guess, somewhat Caribbean. I don't think I'll ever get a British accent. And I've been here for almost 4 years now. I still don't have a British accent. And I think it's because I'm just like, I grew up Caribbean. So I don't even want to say Caribbean because people feel offended. I guess the correct terminology is West Indian, but it's not a problem for me, but it might be a problem for other people. So I'm happy to say that I'm Grenadian and I'm from the Caribbean, but there was a whole thing on Twitter anyway about we're West Indians, yada yada yada. Don't want to get into that. But yeah, that's where I grew up. I am an aspiring data scientist. So I am studying my master's in data science and I am about to finish in about May, June. So I'll be doing my dissertation. That's the last thing that I have to do. And then I will be graduating, and I can't wait to actually have my degree and just take a break from school for however long. I don't think that I want to do my PhD, but it's just that level of pride and competitiveness within me. I feel like I should have doctor to my name. Dr. Janelle. Can you imagine when I get my PhD? Like, I'll be on top of the moon. Like, imagine I'll be a doctor. I mean, I won't be a medical doctor, but I'll be a doctor of philosophy. Can you imagine, Dr. Janelle? Yeah, so maybe I might do my PhD just for that reason only, just to have the title and that accomplishment, and then I'll be done with any form of school. Like, I cannot do any more studies at the moment. I am so tired of doing studies. I'm happy to do little certificates here and there because I just like to do school and like schoolwork. I wish someone could pay me to go to school for the rest of my life. If I can get paid to be a student, I would. Seriously. I feel like that would be such an easy job, but whatever. I can't do that anyway. But yeah, I am studying my master's and I'm almost done. I did do my bachelor's degree in university, well, at the University of the West Indies, and it was a crazy experience. I did my degree in management studies. Like, everyone can do their degree in management or business or accounting or finance or econ. Everyone can do their degree in that, like those types of fields. But no one really talks about the tech industry and how we can get into or we should tap into that industry, or even engineering. Like, no one really talked about that, especially like when we were in secondary school. It was all about business, accounting, or a doctor. That's it. Like, other fields were not talked about, and I feel like that's something that we need to stop. Like, these are not the only careers in the world. Like, there are so many other careers in the world. Even my job now that I'm doing, I didn't even know this job existed at all until a recruiter reached out and gave me this job. Like, well, asked me if I wanted to apply for the job. And that's how I knew about this industry. I had absolutely no idea, no clue that this type of industry existed. And it's so popular. Now that I know and I did research, it's absolutely so popular. And it's something that's like so obvious, you wouldn't even realize that, wow, like actually we can make this a job, because it happens every single day. You probably would see it within your corporate industry or your corporate life. It happens, but it's, yeah, I had no idea it existed. But I do want to ensure that my podcast is not only informative but conversational and opinionated, and as I said, everyone can be able to express themselves freely and just be able to share your opinion. I feel like sharing your opinion is something that people like these days have a problem with. Everyone just wants to remain silent. Like, when you're having feelings or something upsets you and you want to talk about it, this is, of course, with the right people. Because if you have people in your life that don't give a shit about you, makes no sense trying to express yourself or tell them your opinion or try to reason, because they don't care. So it would literally fly over their heads. And they'll just look at you as someone who is problematic because you're able to express yourself, because you're willing to challenge and have those conversations. Like, people that don't care about you will have a problem with that. These are topics that I want to talk about as well. And we'll do a bunch of story times because I have loads to dish. Loads of story times to dish. Not only like drama, like friendship wise, but just experiences in my past relationships, like ex-boyfriends, whatever, if you want to call them an ex-boyfriend. I don't know what's the correct term, because I don't think they're ex-boyfriends. They're just people from my past. Yeah. But yeah, I want to do all those story times. I can't wait to just get into it. But again, this is just the introduction, just the welcome. Get to know me a bit, get to feel my personality, see if you want to listen to my voice, see if you want to hear me talk all the time. That's what this episode is about. And just obviously for me to feel comfortable as well, for me to start getting into making content and being a content creator and creating content that I enjoy and content that feels effortless to me. I feel like the hardest thing here for me was to set up and find the right space and find the right equipment, but also make it easy for me to use because I wanted to use my phone and I was very adamant on using my phone. So I had to like Google and YouTube and all the different things in order to ensure that I also have good audio while still being able to use my phone and not have to use a laptop at all. I'm happy to edit my video on a laptop, very happy to do that, but I just didn't want the whole laptop setup, phone setup, recording audio one way. That just felt too overwhelming for me. And the way my anxiety is set up, that was way too much. So, very simple setup. I'm using the famous TikTok light. Can you imagine? The famous TikTok light. That's what I'm using right now. And it is absolutely amazing. I have a light overhead here. So, this is a warm tone light that I have overhead. But my TikTok light, it's the very bright white light. And I like the mixture of the white light and the warm tone. I feel like it looks really well. And it just looks well on my skin tone, I think. The TikTok light itself, you do have the two tones. But just because I already have the overhead light that's warm and is bright, it just made no sense to use the mixture from the TikTok light. But overall, if you probably just had the TikTok light, you would absolutely be fine because it can go really, really bright and you can mix the lighting. So it's really, really good. And it was so cheap too. Yeah, that's it for the introduction. So what this podcast is going to be about, I know I spoke a bit about it in the intro, but I do want to talk about different story times that I've had, like just experiences, wild experiences in life, things that my friends and I did when we were younger that we absolutely had no business doing. I'm not going to go too crazy because, of course, I need to ensure that I'm speaking about myself and not like exposing other person's business. So I'm still gonna be very careful with what I say and how I say things, but I'm gonna talk about those experiences. It's gonna be fun. I would love to share. I'm happy to share. But I also want to talk about friendship red flags and friendship green flags because making sure that you have the right friends in your corner is so important. A big reason why I've been delaying this whole podcast situation. I wanted to start content creating since 2020. We're in 2024 now, and I'm now making my first video, my first podcast. That's crazy. But anyway, I think it was for the best because I feel much more confident and brave to actually get on camera and start speaking. Whereas I probably wouldn't have felt that confident and that brave in 2020. But the biggest thing that's been keeping me back from 2020, 2021, 2022, every single year when I make my resolutions, I'm gonna start my podcast, I'm gonna start creating content, I'm going to start doing it. And I've always been putting it off because of fear and people judging me. I have no fear towards the unknown, like strangers or anyone that I don't know, or welcoming like a new audience or a new community, or people who disagree with every single thing that I'm saying, but it's a random person. That is not my fear at all. My fear was centered around the people that I know, the people that know me, and them seeing that I'm making this step and doing this. Like back home, I guess the same would be like, what she feels you're trying, like that kind of thing, or what she feels you're doing, if you understand the dialect. But that is what was always in my mind, like always in my mind, and it kept me from doing this because I wanted to start off with my weight loss. Everyone messaged me all the time, especially on Instagram. Please tell me what you did to lose weight. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm going to start posting my recipes. I'm going to start doing this. And I started for a bit and then I stopped because I felt like I wasn't getting support from the people that I wanted to support me. And even though I was getting support from other people, I made that stop me, which is so crazy. Isn't that insane? I'm telling you guys, it's so crazy, your perception. And mind you, probably like the people that I'm thinking about who's going to judge me or whatever, they probably don't even care. Probably won't even see my content, probably won't even engage. Like they probably wouldn't even know, or like it wouldn't even be like a thing to them. But in my head, like my perception of things, the way I saw it, like I was just so fearful of that, fearful of being judged for creating content. Why? It sounds ridiculous, but it's such a real thing. It's such a real thing. Like that fear it's crazy. But yeah, like I want to make sure that when I'm talking about friendship red flags and green flags, like I'm highlighting those things on both ends because I do have very strong relationships, very strong friendships. But I also have some relationship, well, I wouldn't say friendships anymore, I would say acquaintances, but people who were my friends and no longer are my friends. And I want to ensure that like I talk about those red flags because there were red flags, and only as like things changed and I got older and I started reading more and listening to other people experiences and like and so on, and that's how I was able to notice those red flags because what the hell. I had no idea what they were. I had no idea at all. But yeah, I want to make sure that that's a very important topic in my podcast. Another topic would be relationships as it relates to your partner's married life. That is so important because we're not all single, but and I don't think anyone's gonna be single for the rest of their lives anyway. You're gonna have companionship one way or the other, whether it's a situationship, whatever it is, you're gonna have companionship. And being able to have something that is stable, positive, respectful, and someone, a partner that you're able to share things with, someone that's able to motivate you, be positive in your life, support you in ways that you need supported, but also they'll support you in ways that they can support you. Everyone has different opinions, everyone has different ways of doing things. So I want to talk about those things and navigating life as a married woman now. But before even getting married, just navigating life in my relationship and with my life partner, like that is so important to be able to speak about. And it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. It never is, it never will be. Every single person who I've heard talk about relationships lasting 40 years, 50 years, or till death, it's always been communication. It always been, we've had ups and downs, we've been through it, we've gone our separate ways, but we've came back. Like it's always been something. And when I say separate ways, not separate ways as in, oh, you go find another person and I go find, like, no, as in separate ways as in take some time away from each other, but take some time away from each other to work towards getting back to each other was always the focus. Like that is what you need to be thinking about when you're in a serious relationship, and a relationship that's healthy, a relationship where you feel loved, you are giving love. And yeah, I can't wait to dive into that. Like, I'm already strained, but we will have such a good time. Yeah, I love to travel as well. So I guess at some point I will do travel vlogs, because we started traveling a lot more recently, I guess within the last couple of years since we moved. Since after COVID, and we moved to the UK and things opened up, we started traveling. Before in Grenada, we never traveled before, as in together, but we travel separately, growing up, but together since being in a relationship, we started traveling when we got to the UK. So yeah, I will be talking about travel vlogs. Well, I'll be doing travel vlogs, and I'll be talking about the best deals and where we find our deals and how we budget and how we travel without breaking the bank, best times to travel, all those things. I'll be talking about that as well. And I do want to go back a bit to my educational history. So, as I said, everyone, like back home in the high school that I went to, it was always business, finance, econ, accounting, medicine. That was all. Um, and being a woman in tech now, amazing. Like, there are so many different platforms that you can learn new tech skills, or whatever you want to do tech wise, for free, because you're a woman in tech. That's amazing. And that is so, that's, I mean, obviously, you'll need things that are accredited. So you might have to spend for those things. But when it comes to like just getting that general knowledge and just being able to dip your foot in the water, there are so many platforms with us, women in tech, and we need to start utilizing those things. So I will speak about like the top 5 places that I've seen that would do free courses. Very competitive though, so you have to make sure that when you're applying early, because they are so competitive. But we'll talk about that as well. Another important topic, I want to ensure that is a safe space to speak on within this podcast, is mental health. I have been through it, up and down. I'm doing better now. 100% I'm doing better now, but I have my days where it's absolutely, it's bad. When it's bad, it's bad. It's bad. Bad, bad, bad. And it's not something that we've grown up really recognizing in Grenada, in the Caribbean on a whole. It is being recognized now because the millennials are talking about it and expressing themselves more, and how important it is. And obviously, suicide being on a rise. It's something that I guess the older folks are starting to recognize now, which is great. But those struggles that you feel as an adult, especially with all the pressures that we have and influences that we have from social media, these things are, I would have to, I'll do some research to make sure what I'm saying is correct. But I personally, for me, I feel like social media drives depression, drives anxiety, drives mental health issues, because you don't know what's actually happening behind closed doors, but all you know is what you see, and all you see is glamour. All you see, are brand deals. People are going to events, and people are posting nice clothes. People are getting free makeup, free this, free that. And that's all you're seeing. You're not, and to you, you're thinking that it's all free. It probably isn't, but that's what is being portrayed. That's what you're seeing. So it just comes off as everything is just amazing. Big houses, mansions, and loads of luxurious things you're seeing from content creators, and you're wondering, what the hell am I doing with my life? That can drive you into depression. Feeling like you're not where you're supposed to be at a certain age can 100% drive you into feeling anxious, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're missing something in life. And we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that negative impact that social media has on everyone, because you just don't know what's happening behind closed doors, and you'll never know unless maybe you're very close to someone. And even if you're very close to someone, like that, maybe they may not tell you every single thing, especially if it's something that they'll feel embarrassed about or embarrassed to say. So yeah, depression, anxiety, and just the whole feeling overwhelmed, and all those feelings that you get from outside pressures, social media pressures, all those things, your family, feeling like you should be somewhere else than you are now at a certain age, all those different things. That's like, those are very important topics that we need to be talking about more, and we need to be ensuring that it's a safe space to talk about those things, because when you talk about it, talking helps. Maybe not for everyone, but for me, and I know a lot of other people, talking helps a lot. Talking things through, talking things out makes it so much easier to move on and move forward and move past. But also moving in silence, but that's another topic on its own. For me, I feel like doing this podcast, just it will help boost my confidence, give me a sense of belonging, I guess, having my voice heard, and just putting myself out there. Very scary, but putting myself out there and doing something that I enjoy and something that I feel comfortable with. That's it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to feel the imposter syndrome, and I'm feeling it. I am feeling the imposter syndrome, like now as we speak. I am feeling it because I'm talking to an audience. I don't have an audience yet, but by the grace of God, we will have an audience. And speaking of God, that's another topic that I want to discuss. My relationship with religion. Religion is like an up and down relationship for me. My relationship with God, up and down. And just overall wondering, or trying to ensure that I don't wonder if God is actually there for me, and so on. And just me making better decisions and better steps towards bettering my relationship with God. I think that's a struggle, especially because I grew up Christian, and I grew up Christian, Catholic, Christian, Pentecostal, both. My grandma was a Catholic. My grandpa and my mom are Pentecostals or New Testaments, whatever floats their boats, really. Just not Catholic or Adventist or anything that's close to Catholic. But yeah, definitely want to talk about my relationship with God and being a Christian in modern times. Like, there are a lot of things that I don't agree with. There are a lot of things that I think God, like, He is not going to judge us for a lot of the things that society says He will. That's just what I think. I don't have to be right. I don't know if I'm right, but I just refuse to believe that some of these things that we judge ourselves so harshly for Obviously, I'm not talking about anything that God has straight out verbatim said in the Bible. That's wrong. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about all the minor things that we're like, oh, that's a sin, that's a sin, that's a sin, that's a sin. I don't think God is like, He knows we're not perfect. So, yeah, that's another topic on its own. So, for the podcast, the goal is to grow the platform as big as possible, honestly. But I will have guests come on and we'll talk about topics and discuss differences in opinions or whether we have the same opinion. We'll talk about those topics, talk about controversial things. Um, I am very opinionated and I have friends who are also very opinionated. So I can't wait to have them on the podcast and talk through life things, whatever we're going through at the moment. Just dive into it and just divulge and discuss everything in life related, health related, mental health related, I should say, fashion, beauty, makeup, whatever the topic is, maybe something that's trending at the moment, or maybe they want to do a story time from experiences they've had in their lives. We'll be talking about loads of different things based on the guest, and it will be a topic that the guest is comfortable with, and that I am also comfortable speaking about with my guests. So I can't wait for the podcast to have another person with me, and I'm talking and we're talking and we're engaging, because now I'm talking to you guys on my own, but when I have a guest, I'll be talking to you guys and talking to the guests, and it will just be back and forth and just be a little bit of banter, which is always good to have. So, the next episode, as I said, this is the intro, just ensuring that I feel things out, get my listeners to hear me and get interested and feel excited about what's to come. But the next episode that I will be having, it will have a guest. Yay! And the guest will be my husband. So we will talk about our relationship. We will give advice where we can. We will talk about compromising in the relationship, things that we've had to do individually to make sure that our relationship works, and what we're doing to ensure that we remain life partners and we remain committed to our vows and committed to God and the union that we have, and problems that we've had, because as I said, it's never gonna just be all good. You're gonna have ups and downs. They're gonna have things that you disagree on with your partner. You're gonna have loads of different petty arguments. I will talk about my I guess things that are important to me in the relationship and things that are important to him in the relationship. We'll talk about those things, and I guess you'll be able to see where our differences are, because we are very much different, but we are the same for a lot of things, which is good. But personality wise, 100% different. I am very bubbly, very loud, very out there. Well, not all the time, but in general, like I'm very sociable, very personable, love to talk. Whereas my husband, he's quiet. He's not extremely quiet, but it just depends on the room. Like he's an introvert, and that's his overall personality in general. I don't want to say I'm an extrovert, because sometimes I can very much be an introvert. So I feel like I switch between being an introvert and an extrovert. Like, yeah, I am very much in between sometimes. Well, my husband, I think he is an introvert mostly. 80, 90, 10, whereas I am probably 60, 40. Depending on my mood, I'll be 60 introvert or 60 extrovert. It's all up in the air, guys. With me, it's up in the air. But yeah, we'll talk about how that affects our relationship and just little things that just the differences in our personalities can do to cause like an argument or so on. And we'll just, dive in and discuss everything. And I can't wait for that episode. And apart from that, like apart from episodes where he'll be on talking about our relationships, he'll be on talking about loads of other things. So as we make more episodes, he'll be on to be a co-host whenever there's a topic that I feel like he has very good opinions on, and he's strong-minded, and he wants to talk about it, of course, as well. So yeah, he'll be on for those things. But yeah, that's the next episode, so tune in. It will be a very good one. We will have some cocktails. I will make some low calorie cocktails. I've been drinking low calorie cocktails, guys. And I just wanted to ensure that I have smarter ways in drinking. Before, I would be drinking Malibu and pineapple all the time, which is one, not only expensive, but two, extremely high in calories and so sweet. I drank gin before, but now I'm gin girl. So I would drink gin and whatever 0 calorie mixer is there, whether that's gin and tonic or gin and ginger ale. Once it's 0 calorie, whether it's gin and Sprite, whatever it is. Right now I'm having some wine with lemon and blueberries, but before I had some Bacardi, because Bacardi is also very low in calories. Bacardi with lemon and blueberries, and amazing. The chaser that we had was a 0 calorie chaser from Tesco. It's a lemon. I guess it's a knockoff on Sprite, but it's chef's kiss. Amazing. And it's only about 100 calories, if so much, if you do double shots, because one shot is about 52 calories, gin, Bacardi around there. So when you add your drink, it'll be 100, 110 probably. Whereas, just check the calories without the 0 calorie chaser. Check it. You will be mind blown. And then, of course, 1 or 2 fruits, no calories at all. I'm not going to count calories for 2 slices of lemon or 2 slices of strawberry or 5 blueberries. I'm not going to count that. No. But these low calorie drinks that we've been having and I've been making are top notch. It's so simple. It makes you feel like you're chilling at a cocktail bar when you just whipped up some ingredients that you had at home. And of course, if you add it in a fancy glass like this, you will feel like you're having a great cocktail, and it does taste really good. So yeah, we'll have some lovely cocktails next time. Maybe I'll do a cocktail of the episode instead of a cocktail of the day, a cocktail of the episode. Isn't that cool? Cool. Oh my gosh, a cocktail of the episode. I don't want to commit to that because I don't want to have a cocktail every single episode, but once, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll have a of the episode. So this episode, where I wish I had the original drink that I have, because this is just like a white wine sangria with little fruits and no juice, just wine and fruit. So I guess today's cocktail of the episode is a white wine play on a sangria. It's really good anyway. But yeah, that is it, guys. I look forward to next week's episode. I just want to ensure that as summary, we'll be talking about everything under the sun. Okay? That's it. Everything any topic that's trending, anything that I'm interested in, anything that is, I mean, of course, I also want to hear any topics that you guys want me to talk about. I am so open and willing to talk about anything. I'll do research and do whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm very knowledgeable on what I'm talking about. If it's something that I'm truly uncomfortable speaking on, then I won't speak on it. But again, it's once I'm comfortable, once everyone is comfortable, that's the goal for this podcast, to make sure that it's a positive and safe space to share your views and share your opinions. That's the bottom line, honestly. Jay's Corner, guys. Jay's Corner. So please subscribe. Please, I really appreciate if you guys can subscribe and leave comments, engage, ask me any questions that you want, share with your friends, your family, share with everyone. Please like the video, everything that you need to do to ensure that this podcast grows and flourish and we build a nice little community or a nice big community. Maybe we'll have some content creators come on in the future. I'll have some influencers as guests. Maybe I'll have Patricia Bright. But yes, thank you so much, guys, for listening. I truly, truly appreciate it. And please look out for the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and on YouTube. You'll be able to just listen along, whether you're working out, you're driving, you're in the gym, or you're cooking, cleaning, whatever it is. Please ensure that you subscribe to my podcast and you are available to listen to the tea and dish in and dive in. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. And that is it for Jay's Corner.